Hi everyone, welcome back to my weekly learning log. This is my forum post for EDU3100 Assessments and Learning, Module 2, and we're going to be talking about the difference between a good assessment and a bad assessment. But before we get into that, I want to talk briefly about mastery learning and what that is and how assessments can be a very valuable tool in mastery learning. So mastery learning is a teaching strategy that involves breaking concepts down into units and focusing on students' mastery of those concepts before we move on to the next unit. If it focuses more on where students are at and showing signs of student growth and actual learning as opposed to the memorization of facts. It's different from reteaching in that it often involves, drilling facts and just kind of hoping that your students retain more information than the last time. And this practice can also often lead to information banking, which is not necessarily, reflective of true learning. So in mastery learning, instructors can use assessment to determine what level of mastery students are at with content and key concepts. It allows the educator to identify students that might need some corrective instruction, and it also allows the instructor to identify students who might be a little bit more advanced with content and could possibly benefit from some enrichment or enhanced activities or hands-on activities that could really enhance their learning process. It also provides valuable feedback to the instructor who might need to adjust her lesson plans if they are not necessarily as impactful as they had hoped. And it also is a great way for the instructor to back up and create a lesson plan that is more inclusive of the different learning styles that are in the classroom. So now there are good assessments and there are bad assessments. I think that the key factor of a good assessment is providing valuable feedback to not only the instructor but also the student. It lets the student know where they're at and what concepts they really need to focus on in order to master the next unit. And it also allows the instructor to adjust her lesson plans accordingly. And if an assessment does not include that, then it is a bad assessment. So unless an assessment is providing some kind of meaningful or enriching feedback that helps the student master key concepts, it is not an assessment that needs to be given in the classroom. When I was in middle school, I had a teacher who liked to give pop quizzes as a punishment. The class would be misbehaving towards the end of the class and chattering or carrying on, and all of a sudden she would say, all right, everybody, books away, we're going to have a pop quiz. And these quizzes never went towards our grade. Sometimes they weren't even really related to the content that we had covered in class that day. And it really didn't provide any kind of meaningful feedback. It was being used as a form of punishment. It wasn't even being used as a discipline. There's a difference between punishment and discipline, and this teacher was definitely issuing quizzes as a form of punishment to teach students a lesson. So I think that, when we use assessment in this way, that it can really fuel students' assessment anxiety, and it can just, set students up for failure. Now, all students and teachers spend a lot of time every year worrying about the big end of grade test and that big final assessment. And assessment really, when we start to think about it a little bit differently, when it's done correctly, it can be a valuable and vital part to the educational experience, and it can really be a way for instructors to enrich their classrooms and create a more inclusive lesson for their students. The perspective really kind of changes when you start to look at assessment as a way of providing meaningful feedback instead of a way to discipline or catch your students or just kind of figure out what facts they do and do not know about a science concept or a history concept, or if they did or did not read the assignment last night for homework. And the assessments become a vital part of mastery learning. And, mastery learning can be a little bit more of a long-winded, long game teaching strategy, but it is one that has proven results. Definitely, I would say it's far more beneficial and reflective of true learning than just simply reteaching concepts and drilling facts in hopes that students will just, pick up on it and, without providing them with a way to think critically about these concepts or a way that they can relate this content back to their lives in a personal way that provides meaning and growth in their own life. So that concludes my Module 2 forum post on good and bad assessments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope that you're all having a wonderful start off to the semester. I know we're all kind of trucking forward into week 4 now, I think it is. So I wish you all the best. I hope you're having a wonderful semester, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy learning, everybody.